is the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
I'm smileyarriaga.
And today we're celebrating 6 years of the Wrestling Caucus. And to do so, we watched WrestleMania 22 from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, we watched the show live as it happened. And over the years, I've gone back to watch certain things like Edge and Mick Foley, the Money in the Bank match with RVD winning and everything that happened after that. But as it happened, I have fond memories of the show. I thought it was a good show. Not one of the greatest WrestleManias, but there was still a lot of memorable things that happened. Would you agree?
Yes. If this show was 2 matches shorter. Right? The main event was the third. The real main event to me was the Rey Mysterio, Orton, and Kurt Angle. That felt like the real main event. I just like that better than Cena and Triple H. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah. We could talk about it, but yeah, I've always looked at the World Heavyweight Triple Threat fondly. Because this was Rey Mysterio's year. He was kind of new to the main event scene, so it was refreshing to see that, and the match was really good, even in retrospect, because as a kid watching it live, it felt very quick but very good, and then watching it 20 years later, it's just as good, if not better than I remembered it.
Yeah.
But I've always Edge and Mick Foley was always the standout match to me. Because of how insane some of the spots were,
And the promos.
Oh, the promos leading up to it, yeah, of course. So let's dive into the card, starting with
good lord,
the World Tag Team Championship match. It was Big Show and Kane versus Carlito and Masters.
Yo, that match was a blur back then, and it was a blur now. Because I forgot we watched that again. I was gonna say, wait, wasn't the first match the Money in the Bank? This is like if one of those pre-show matches was on the show.
Exactly. It was it was a stereotypical WWE opening match.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible from an in-ring standpoint, but it was nothing exciting. If you wanted to make it more exciting, honestly, Big Show and Kane should have just completely squashed Carlito and Chris Masters.
Yeah, in rapid succession.
Yeah.
In rapid succession.
It should have been on Raw, should have been on Sunday Night Heat. It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't horrible. And I gotta say, honestly, that was kind of the theme of the show. There was a good amount of matches, maybe a little bit less than half of the card that was solid, not horrible, but also not exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was nothing really special about this match. And well, at this time, this is 2006, so WWE wasn't really going all in on tag teams until the Hardys came back later this year. Up until then, there was really nothing really going on. Because Big Show and Kane would break up soon after this.
Yeah.
And so would Carlito and Chris Masters.
Things wouldn't really pop off for everyone until later. It's RVD just won the Money in the Bank, and that was closer to when he would cash it in is when things would start really popping off.
Well, I'm talking about tag teams.
Oh, tag teams.
I'm talking about tag teams. Yeah, this was not a great time for the tag team division. They had little bits here and there, like Armageddon this year. Later this December, there was that massive SmackDown tag team title match at that one pay-per-view. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of tag team centric.
What other tag teams were around at this time?
Eminem.
Oh yeah, they were huge. They weren't on the card at all.
Exactly. They were one of the most pushed tag teams, and they just weren't there. Anyway, Money in the Bank ladder match. This was the second ever Money in the Bank ladder match. It had majority of the people that. Actually, most of the people that were in this were not in the first one, aside from Shelton Benjamin. But you had Ric Flair, Rob Van Dam, Shelton, Matt Hardy, Fit Finlay, and Bobby Lashley. And I was saying while we were watching, this was the match that WWE fit in all of the great workers in here. because they know they could do a good job.
And they make sure nothing really went wrong.
Exactly. And nothing really did go wrong in this. It was really good. I think one of the most interesting things about this was Ric Flair, because Matt Hardy, was it Matt Hardy or Finlay? I forgot who suplexed Ric Flair.
It was
Matt Hardy.
Yeah, it was Matt Hardy. Yeah,
Matt Hardy. So Matt Hardy suplexes Ric Flair, and then Ric Flair is selling it like death, and then he gets wheeled out, and then he comes back a little later. That was awesome.
Like, that sounds like I'm off my, like,
yeah, it was great.
Oh my god!
It was awesome. And of course, Rob Van Dam was just extraordinary. The splash off the ladder was tremendous. The Rolling Thunder on the ladder.
Oh my god! You know what my favorite is? When he took the briefcase off of the ladder, he just fell off the ladder. Mm-hmm. It was like in spectacular. He even bumped after he won, like it's in spectacular fashion.
And Shelton Benjamin running on the ladder and flipping outside.
That was
the ladder could have easily just like teetered over, and he could have just died a horrible death. Yeah, but it shows you the athleticism of Shelton Benjamin. And yeah, Rob Van Dam winning was just poetic because, like Jim Ross alluded to, he missed the previous WrestleMania, had a horrible knee injury, and I think at One Night Stand 05, Rob Van Dam cut a promo saying, "I miss WrestleMania, I miss Booker T's wedding," or all this stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so this was this year, 2006 was like Rob Van Dam's redemption year, which was awesome. I was, even at the time, and looking back on it now, Rob Van Dam winning this was perfect. And it was great to see like WWE at this time do something for the fans, because I feel like Rob Van Dam was the people's champion, outside The Rock.
They never, 9 out of 10 times, they stick it to the fans. That was like Vince's mentality. I felt like a lot of the time was like, oh, screw you fans, like screw you people who pay to see my show. But like, yeah, them having Rob Van Dam win later at One Night Stand, especially, and also tonight, was like, wow, they're actually, and in Chicago, if Ric Flair would have won, I think people would have probably booed.
Yeah, it was an ECW heavy audience. They were chanting ECW a lot. I saw people with ECW shirts.
Yeah.
So
were any Hatchet Man signs in the audience?
I didn't see.
No, I
wouldn't be surprised if there was.
Yeah.
A lot of juggalos are wrestling fans. But this, I'm laughing because the match after this is kind of insane.
Jesus Christ.
But this Money in the Bank ladder match is not talked about a lot. I don't know why. Because it was really good. I think it was very memorable.
Nothing went wrong.
This ladder match, I think maybe some subsequent ones, is kind of forgotten about in a way.
Yeah, that kind of sucks because RVD winning it is like a huge deal. Like, and yeah, like this is one of the better worked. This is one of the more sensical, better worked ladder matches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably because maybe I don't know. Maybe people do talk about the ones that someone almost dies.
Yeah. I mean, the first one was memorable because it was the first one, and Edge winning led to a whole lot of things happening, and him cashing in the first time. So I understand that, and also like the Money in the Bank concept. It's after a while it started to get ridiculous. But this one was interesting because again, Rob Van Dam ended up cashing it in a unique way.
He was the only one. I always say this, like he was the only babyface that actually cashed it in a way that a babyface would. He didn't screw anyone over. It was actually very athlete-like. It was like, I'm gonna cash this in for a pay-per-view, and it was a whole lead-up and build-up. Like that's something an athlete would do. He booked a fight. That's the thing. Like the Money in the Bank, everyone likes the surprise element of it, but you can literally use the Money in the Bank the way RVD did to book a match later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of the Money in the Bank ladder matches, this next match features someone who was in the first Money in the Bank ladder match, and that was Chris Benoit and JBL for the U.S. title match.
God.
This match, it was a basic opening match that you would see on an ordinary SmackDown. It didn't really feel like a main event match at all. You could have utilized Chris Benoit and JBL rather in a better way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's so many people that you could have put up against Chris Benoit. You could have done Chris Benoit and Booker T. We'll talk about Booker T later.
Yeah.
It was just a nothing match. It wasn't It was a little physical because that's what you can expect from Chris Benoit and JBL, but it was just nothing.
And then the whole, Chris Benoit of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad because, he was so good, but I kind of hate that he was so good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I hate how good he is. Like, it's really weird watching him now. It's so weird.
But you know what's funny? I'm glad that this match kind of sucked. It's like, okay, good. I don't like the memory of this match is not tarnished.
Yeah, because it already sucked already. It sucked. Then it sucks now.
Like WrestleMania 20 is hard to go back and watch.
Yeah,
even though that show was great and the main event was amazing.
It was nice to see Eddie at the end of WrestleMania 20.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, I think they could have done. They could have rolled over the best of 5 series into WrestleMania.
Yeah,
with Benoit and Booker T.
It seems like certain people don't like Booker T for a certain reason at this time. I can't put my finger on why.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
I don't
Jesus,
know. It was just a misuse of talent here. Mick Foley and Edge hardcore match.
Oh, this was awesome. This was incredible.
Yeah, it was. This is very memorable. It's kind of the perfect match for these two because Edge was going insane. And Mick Foley is already insane. And, it's what Mick Foley's good at. These kind of deathmatch type of matches. And him and Edge, Mick Foley and Edge just work very well together.
Yeah. This was around the time where the hardcore match stipulation meant something. Now I feel like every other week I see, no DQ matches on TV in both AEW and WWE. I remember back then, when they announced a hardcore match, I actually oh wow, I don't see this a lot back then. This is one of my favorite hardcore matches, and it's great because because this was also used. The drama from this match was used to build one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches with Edge and Undertaker later. Yeah. Years later.
But I thought that's the one thing I did like about the show. They did space out the stipulation matches.
Yeah.
It just wasn't one after another. Yeah, it was very well done. And also this match, as far as all the stipulation matches on the show, this was totally different from all that.
Yeah.
They had it's just an ECW match. It was a FMW, a toned down FMW match. But it was good. It didn't overstay its welcome. The barbed wire bat spots were really interesting. Mick Foley wrapping himself in barbed wire and how that was revealed. I think Edge tried to, because I think it was smart psychology.
Yeah.
Mick Foley knew that Edge is gonna probably spear him, so he tried to spear him, and Edge is selling for no reason.
He's covered in blood. Yeah, what the hell happened?
Yeah, and then he reveals that he was wearing barbed wire. It was very clever. It was very, very well done.
I remember when I first saw this as a kid, I'm like, that I couldn't stop laughing. That was incredible because Mick Foley's insane.
He's out of his mind.
Oh my god, yeah, and that's actually a spot where someone using barbed wire on themselves actually made sense.
Yeah,
because you didn't see what was going on until he revealed himself. That was so cool.
Yeah, and of course the fire spot, which can go wrong in so many different ways. They tried to replicate the spot a few times after, but the fire never stays lit. It worked at One Night Stand.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
But, this is why you don't really use fire that often in wrestling.
Yeah,
FMW did it a lot. But
what the hell is wrong with these people? God.
It worked. It was a perfect finish to this match. Lita lights the fire. Mick Foley's on the apron. Edge spears him.
But this thing about the insanity of someone lighting themselves on fire. God.
And Edge had no shirt on.
Yeah. And he sold it as if he was pulled out of a burning building.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah, blood looked like he had blood coming out of his retina. It was this is a hardcore match. Yeah. This is a freaking hardcore match.
And we went from something great into something very stupid.
Oh, Jesus. It reminds you that Vince was running the company back then.
Boogeyman versus Booker T.
See, yeah, this is another reason why I always say, they don't like Booker T. They don't like black people very much, do they, in this company?
Booker T was severely underutilized. Look how Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley were portrayed in the Money in the Bank ladder match. It was great. They were both their strengths were showcased.
Yeah.
Booker T has all the charisma. He's a great athlete. He has a great connection with the crowd. You know, he was a heel at this time. But no, he was in a stupid, I guess it was supposed to be comedy. Booker T was scared of his own entrance. They kind of did to him what they ended up doing to Seth Rollins years later with The Fiend.
They killed, yeah. Like, they thought that, like, maybe they thought that, like, oh, Booker T would help Boogeyman, but no, I felt like I couldn't help but feel like they were still mad at the WCW thing. They were just making him suffer.
Because he just came off of a great Best of 5 series on SmackDown. And you know, him and Benoit had like just people still talk about that till this day, how great that series was, and the WCW series was just as good. For WrestleMania, this is what you have for Booker T. You have him lose to a man in ridiculous fashion
who hits himself with a clock. And eats worse.
Like the worst. It was like the worst spine buster you've ever saw in your life. Booker T is laying there like an idiot, and he puts worms in his mouth. And it's tough. Look, I'm not against left of center things in wrestling. I'm not against.
If it's like this, I am.
This is a little, but this is like way over the top.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh my God,
Booker T and Benoit. You could have did that. Booker T could have been in the Money in the Bank ladder match. You know?
Good God, man. It made me want to dig myself a hole and eat worms.
Yeah, it was terrible.
God. Jesus Christ.
Okay. We went from something really stupid to something really great. Trish Stratus and Mickie James for the women's title.
Yeah, this match was amazing.
This was actually, it was built up since like September.
Yeah.
Because Mickie James was the new woman on the block. She was a huge fan of Trish. She became obsessed with Trish. And there you go. There's your conflict.
Like, Mickie James was special at the time, especially because, like, Trish Stratus was someone who, like, wasn't always a great wrestler, but became a great wrestler before your eyes. Mickie James was a great wrestler as soon as she came in.
Yeah.
As soon as she came in, she was noticeably better than a lot of the other people in the division. Hell, some of the other dudes, to be honest with you. Like, she was nice, but, you know, obviously, but this, you know, if you get past the fact that they made a grown woman dress like a little girl, because, you know, Vince McMahon.
Her skirt was way too short.
And this was the good women's match on the card.
Yeah.
Not the one that would happen later. That's...
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
This is really good. This is much better than I remembered it being. Of course, women's wrestling now is so much better. But for the time, this was a story that was, you know, built up for a few months. And they delivered.
Mickie James was way ahead of her time.
Yeah, they took a chance on her. Trish Stratus was way more established than Mickie James was at the time, and they put the belt on Mickie. The one thing I would say that I didn't like about this match, it kind of had an anticlimactic finish. She just kicked, you know, Mickie kicked Trish out of nowhere.
Like she didn't set up using her finish.
Yeah. It was like interesting what they did. She used her move against her.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, but like they could have done a little. I guess they could have done like just a little more to set that up because it did come out of nowhere. But like, you know, yeah, like this is a match that's worth critiquing. Like
I was like surprised. I was like, whoa, I can't believe Mickie won, but it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, this was the start of a great time of having Mickie James be the top of the division.
Yeah.
Because Trish was this was actually a real like a pass. In hindsight, this is a passing of the torch.
It was.
Because Trish was kind of like, was starting to be on her way out after this.
Yep, exactly. Now we have the casket match. Undertaker and Mark Henry. This is I think this is also the theme of WrestleMania 22. Talented people just being misused.
Yeah.
Undertaker and Mark Henry in a casket match. And when I saw it the first time, I didn't like it. Rewatching it, it wasn't as bad as I remembered it being. But it's still like this match is just it's ridiculous.
It's wacky. It's so like Undertaker has had one-on-one matches that are they're trying to be scary. Undertaker has had one-on-one matches that are scarier that are more like watching him wrestle Kurt Angle was more brutal than this.
Yeah, this was more like a Survivor Challenge than a wrestling match.
It was like, ooh, yeah, really. It felt like watching a reality show. It's like, I hate, even as a, like I said, even as a kid watching this, I'm like, this is dumb. And if you're a kid watching something on professional wrestling and pointing at the TV saying it's dumb, that's a problem.
It was, there was a really good tombstone Undertaker pile driver Mark Henry.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah,
like, it looked great.
Especially if you've ever seen Undertaker's first pile driver from back in the day.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, he got a lot better with that. Especially
what would have been interesting? What would you say?
No, he got a lot better with that with the pile driver as years went by.
Yeah. Booker T and Mark Henry would have been interesting.
That would have been cool.
That would have been something new.
That would have been like, at least two prominent black men in an important WrestleMania match. That would have been nice.
Yeah, but this wasn't like horrible, but it wasn't anything special or memorable.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon, no holds barred. They tried to do Steve Austin and Vince again here, but
with a lot more hoopla.
Yeah, was the build-up funny? Yes. Was the McMahon prayer backstage hilarious? Absolutely. But Shawn Michaels, you could have done a million things with Shawn Michaels.
Anything else?
And you could have done Chris Benoit and Shawn Michaels. Anything. I'm just making stuff up. That would have been
kind of cool.
And just anything. Anything would
have been hard to watch, but it would have been. Like Chris Benoit and Randy Orton would have been cool this year. Because Randy Orton was talking mad shit about Eddie Guerrero. Yeah. And Chris Benoit loved Eddie Guerrero. So that could have been, he could have beat some respect into him. Or like, yeah, anything but this. Like, this was only cathartic if you sat through the months of Shawn Michaels as being buried by Vince on TV and the Spirit Squad. Yeah. That's the only way this could have been any kind of satisfying. But this is like Vince's wet dream booking. Like, it's just somebody just suffering to a weird point. He just likes watching, like, it's like, I would call it masochistic, but he just likes watching other people suffer. It's like a fetish for him. It's weird, but yeah, like
he was the one suffering because Shawn Michaels beat his ass for 20 minutes.
Maybe, then I guess it is masochistic. Then at that point,
it was. It would have been fine if it was like 10 minutes, but they dragged it, and Shawn Michaels had to do the big ladder spot. Even watching it as a kid, I'm like, this is hilarious. Shawn Michaels beating up Vince, but it's like this is too much.
Shawn Michaels should have broke his legs.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have been okay with Shawn Michaels being inserted into the WWE title match.
Honestly?
I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, that would have been a great triple threat.
Yeah.
Because, like, that actually would have been good build-up for the following year where Cena wrestled Shawn Michaels in a one-on-one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title. Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton. This was a great match with ridiculous build-up.
Yeah, it was...
Randy Orton was inserted into this because at No Way Out, it was Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio, and if Rey Mysterio lost, Randy Orton would go to WrestleMania instead of...
Would take his Royal Rumble ticket.
Which is kind of stupid because Rey Mysterio lasted an hour in the Rumble to win the whole thing. And him losing to Randy in such a cheap fashion, it was just so dumb. It's like, it's overbooking, and the whole Randy Orton saying Eddie Guerrero's in hell thing, it's just very uncomfortable.
It was really weird, because like like he literally just died, and it's like he's in hell. I'm like,
yeah, it was just like,
all right.
The build-up to this was a little cold, but when they got in the ring, it was amazing.
It was three of the best workers in WWE in history.
It was so good.
It was amazing. Like the only thing that would have made it better is if it was a one-on-one, whether Rey versus Orton or Rey versus Angle.
Yeah, this was like an Arena Mexico match from like CMLL. Like the year before, like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero just pretty much had an opening AAA style match, and this was great. I love this. It was very entertaining, very fast paced, and it was just three professionals just doing what they do best.
I can't help but think what could have been if Eddie hadn't died, and also if Batista hadn't gotten injured. Because remember, they were kind of This was around the time that they were this was like not too long after they were slow building Eddie and Batista. Yeah. Remember how they were really close buddies on TV, and Batista still had the world title. Batista bought Eddie that lowrider, and like they really built a believable like brotherhood. So you know that Eddie was eventually going to betray Batista, and it was going to be devastating. But then Eddie died, and that was even more devastating. So like, whenever I watch this triple threat, I'm like, I'm glad that someone won it for Eddie, but I also can't help but think in the back of my mind, like, imagine if we have gotten to see Batista and Eddie Guerrero's storyline come to a head here.
Yeah,
it would have been spectacular. Because like, I think they were building for Eddie to win the title.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would have been spectacular.
But thinking about this match in retrospect, like what happened afterwards. I mean, this is an amazing match, but like Rey Mysterio winning was the right call, but they made Rey Mysterio look like a total loser after this. He would get squashed by Great Khali as the champion, and he would just kind of secondary. Like, he didn't feel like he was the champion. He was just a guy with a belt.
You could tell the plan was not for Rey Mysterio to win the title.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And honestly, if you didn't want him to be champion, don't make him champion.
In hindsight, also, maybe it could have been the thing. Maybe they were building for Batista to betray Eddie Guerrero. Because Batista, when he came back, he became a heel like out of nowhere.
No, it was a slow. Like, he didn't turn heel again until like maybe 2 years later.
When he beat Booker for the title?
No, he was still a babyface, even though how he won it was very heelish. He became a heel again when he was teaming up with Rey Mysterio.
Oh, like
and
later.
Batista, betrayed Rey Mysterio. That was like 2 years later.
Yeah.
But I will say, after Rey Mysterio losing the title, we did get a Booker T title match, but he couldn't have been Booker T. He had to be King Booker. He had to be British. But anyway, the Rey Mysterio Chavo Guerrero thing was great. I did like that. But this was a great match.
Was that when Chavo did his 619?
Probably, yeah.
If you haven't seen it, if anyone who's listening to this haven't seen it, look up Chavo Guerrero 619. Thank me later.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this was great. If you're going to watch anything from WrestleMania 22, this is the match to watch. But this next match, you should definitely skip if you're going to rewatch this show. But honestly, I'm glad we watched it because it can show us how far women's wrestling has come.
Or just how sick these men truly are.
Right.
In the back.
And we had a Playboy pillow fight. Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle. Now, the whole thing about this match and the build-up to this, it kind of made sense because they were both featured on Playboy, and that was the whole thing. Candice was basically saying like she was a new hot thing, and like Tori Wilson was kind of old news. That was the story of the match.
Yeah.
But this was just kind of, again, it was just male gay stuff, like you were saying. That's really what it is.
You remember what I told you, right? Like Mia St. John, right? The famous boxer. She was on Playboy. She's a beautiful woman, especially when she was on, and she was very beautiful when she was post-retirement and pre-retirement. She was very beautiful while she was, fighting. They didn't have her fight in a bikini just because she was on Playboy. She still wore an athlete's attire when she fought. Just because these two women were on Playboy doesn't mean we need to see porn on a WWE pay-per-view.
It was just these ladies, they were just rolling around and just...
Vince. It's Vince.
It was so embarrassing. And Trish Stratus and Mickie James was like where women's wrestling, in the States can go. Because this was the same year. This was a few months later, but Gail Kim and Awesome Kong and TNA.
Yeah, thank God for that.
So...
Thank God.
This is like everything that was wrong with women wrestling at that time. Like how not wrong with women's wrestling, but how women's wrestling was presented in WWE.
Yeah, everything wrong with men. This was everything wrong with men.
It was terrible. Time. But I'm so glad that some of the most popular people in wrestling right now are women.
Yeah, they're arguably holding up they're having some of the best matches, a lot of these women.
And I got nothing against Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle. This is nothing against
This wasn't
them.
their fault.
This was the handle they were dealt.
They're like, listen, you're gonna go out there and do porn live, and we're like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. All right, Vince.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sad, but so glad that 20 years later, that the women's wrestling match is not the bathroom break and they're not sexualized. So we've come a long way. Main event time. WWE title match, John Cena and Triple H. Now,
God.
was this a great match?
No.
No. Was this a bad match? No.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. You thought it was bad? I didn't think it was
That was
bad.
bad. It was just like, Christ's sake, you had to wake me up for a second, like during the match. But you want some tea? I'm like, yes. Yeah.
It wasn't like exciting. You know what it was? It was a fine Raw main event.
Yeah. That went on for like 10 minutes longer than a Raw. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, okay, it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't like the casket match, but it was very well. It was very hard fought. I appreciate that. They worked very hard. I hate saying that because like that's kind of a common thing that wrestlers just do.
They did. It was a competent wrestling match.
Yes, it was.
But it wasn't exciting. It wasn't memorable. Don't go back and watch this. Triple H and John Cena have done much better. Like,
Much
we
better.
were just talking about before we started recording. WrestleMania 24, 2 years later, it was John Cena, Triple H versus Randy Orton for the WWE title, and that was great.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
I think Triple H won. No, Randy Orton won that.
Randy Orton won, yeah.
Randy Orton won, yeah.
This was just, it was there.
Yeah.
The Backlash match, it was a triple threat again. It was John Cena, Edge, Triple H. That was much better.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But
This.
I don't know.
Yikes.
It was nothing.
It wasn't as bad as when like Randy wrestled Triple H that one year and people were literally walking out.
Yeah, WrestleMania 25. Because at that point, Triple H and Randy Orton have wrestled so many times.
Yeah, so
I don't know. The thing is, it had a good finish. You know, John Cena tapping out Triple H was great because it's like you're passing the torch.
And I was the only guy
really cementing John Cena.
It was the only guy who tapped out Triple H other than Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Did Kurt Angle ever tap out Triple H?
Not that I can remember. But it also, like, you got to remember how John Cena won the title the year prior against JBL. It was in the middle of the show. It wasn't the main event.
That's true, yeah.
Right? So John Cena and Triple H main eventing here really cemented John Cena as the guy.
Yeah, this was his first like WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
Like actually an actual like main event.
You know, like JR said that John Cena was the underdog going into this match, and that was kind of the story.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we said on our last episode that I said this, and we said it in other episodes too. I am not a huge fan of the champion being presented as the challenger.
Yeah, it's weird.
However, this was a totally different situation because Triple H was the veteran, the established act, and John Cena was becoming established. John Cena in 2006 was not the John Cena that we know now. He wasn't a mainstream superstar yet. He was getting there. He was about to get the Marine in a few months during this time. But in this particular case, John Cena coming in to this match as kind of the underdog made sense because him beating Triple H was already champion 10 times over. You know, so many WrestleMania appearances at this point. So it made sense that the story of this match was John Cena as a champion had to overcome the obstacle of Triple H. In this case, it made sense.
Yeah, like, and if Triple H would have won this match, RVD probably would have needed, like... RVD probably wouldn't have even won the title. You think Hunter was going to lie down for RVD at this time?
I don't think so.
There would have actually been a riot at ECW one night stand.
Yeah, because they were making John Cena as, like, the new guy.
Yeah.
And Triple H wasn't going to get in the way of that. Rob Van Dam just wasn't that guy. Even though at this time, he was again, like John Cena was what the company was behind, and the people were starting to get behind him too.
Yeah.
But Rob Van Dam was was kind of like Bryan Danielson in WWE in like 2014.
Yeah.
Like he was the guy like the people were behind.
Like, and establishing Cena here helped RVD a lot later. Like,
yeah, the ECW reboot and ECW One Night Stand Part 2 wouldn't have meant anything without the popularity of Rob Van Dam. They were finally starting to capitalize on his popularity, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that came out of this main event. That's one of the good things that came out of this.
I'll also say about this show is what WWE should go back to, in the sense that after each match, there wasn't like a long break. There wasn't just this long stretch of downtime.
It was just a promo package. That's it.
A simple promo package. They went match. Maybe a quick backstage segment, but it's just match after match after match. AEW does that very well, but WWE needs to go back to that, because watching Elimination Chamber was exhausting.
See, here's the thing.
And it was only 4 matches.
You know, one of the things that they do now with pay-per-views that make it feel like you're watching Raw or SmackDown, why the hell are there backstage segments during pay-per-views? Think about it. Like, TV, you have backstage segments to establish story. Pay-per-views is when the climaxes are already happening. You don't need backstage segments.
In this one, I liked it. There was one I liked with Randy Orton, because Batista came back and he was injured this time. So it was like Batista coming back to saying, hey, you know, whoever is the world champion, I'm coming for them. So in that regard, it's fine, but they didn't overdo it.
Because that was to the point. That was a good promo. That was to the point. It wasn't like a long, goofy segment.
No, it wasn't. That's the thing. All the backstage segments at WrestleMania 22 were just, it was very minimal. You barely noticed them. Had a great Shawn Michaels interview, just continuing to build up the Vince match. But again, my main point is, like, in between the matches, there was no long downtime. It just flowed very well.
There wasn't like so many damn ads.
Yeah.
My God, like the new pay-per-views are like exhausting. Like this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It was a solid 3 hours.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah, and meanwhile, like nowadays, pay-per-views, like they take like hours to do 4 matches.
Yeah. The match quality now, WWE and WrestleMania, is far better.
Much better.
It's far better. You know, they got 2 nights. 2-night WrestleMania is a lot.
Now most people know how to work.
Yeah. So everyone can do the bare minimum, but it's not like the matches on this show sucked. Some did suck, but some were just like something you would see on Raw.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, this show has some memorable moments. There's things to go back and watch, but there are better WrestleManias to watch from this time period.
It was that amazing botch in like the triple threat main event where Rey, I think he tried to do a 619 by using one of the corner poles, and he slipped off and then he climbed back on again.
Fantastic.
And that's one of the rare Rey Mysterio botches you usually see. It's rare. Yeah. Very rare when he botches.
Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap it up. It's the Wrestling Caucus. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Arriaga.
And you can listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts, and you can follow us on Instagram. All these links will be in the description. Later days.
6 years, baby.